Hello, everyone. Welcome to today's webinar for the San Diego Retirement Planning Facebook group. Today, we're going to be talking about when San Diego residents should claim Social Security. So I'm going to spend some time talking about the different Social Security options that you have to choose from, give you a high-level overview of some of the things that you need to think about just in general with Social Security, and then we'll talk a little bit more about San Diego specifically. So when it comes to Social Security planning, the decision almost everyone rushes to is just collecting right away or having a thought in their head of maybe lining it up with retirement, saying, hey, if I'm going to retire at 65, I'm going to start collecting right away then. Whatever it might be, that's your thought process. Maybe we haven't thought as much through. Sorry about that. Maybe I haven't thought as much through about what that's going to look like in the future, and maybe you're going to be leaving money on the table because you just elected for the day you were going to retire or the day you turn 62 so you can start collecting right away, right? So we want to make sure that we're being a little bit more thoughtful about this because it is such a large sum of money that you'll receive over your retirement. And as I have on here, once you make that decision, you can change it once technically, right when you first turn it on. But after that, you're pretty much locked in for the rest of your life. So we want to make sure that we have a good game plan. So the three key ages to know is going to be age 62, age 67, and age 70. So age 62 is going to be the earliest that you can start collecting your benefits. It's going to be the smallest benefit that you would receive, but it is going to be the longest time that you would get paid out, right? So that's the game we're playing here is collect early and collect less, or wait and collect more. So age 62 is going to be the earliest that you can collect. Full retirement age is age 67. I think that's a weird term to call it full retirement age because it's not the maximum that you could receive. The maximum you could receive is actually if you waited until age 70. So to me, that's like the full retirement age. When I think of full, I think of the most that you can get. So there are almost like a bonus where from 67 to 70, there's its own increasing schedule to get even more money in your retirement. So the case for claiming early, which is what some people go to, there's a few different things you need to think about. Number one is that you need the income right now. Maybe that you're a little bit behind on your retirement planning and you want to start collecting today and go into retirement. So the only way that you can successfully go through your retirement is if you turn on Social Security, right? If it's going to be like a big portion of your income in retirement, then we can't necessarily say let's pull from retirement assets for a few years and then switch to Social Security. You need to just turn it on right away to supplement your income and make sure that you have enough assets in your retirement accounts to get you all the way through retirement. Number two would be health and family history. For example, if you've had a few heart attacks or anything like that, maybe your life expectancy for whatever reason is going to be a bit shorter than the average, then it would make sense to start collecting sooner because it is that game you're playing, right? It's like if I collect it 8 years early from age 70, I got 8 years of income. If I live to say age 75, it was probably better that I started collecting earlier and got those years of benefits because of that shorter life expectancy. So that may be a reason to turn it on early. The last one is protecting your portfolio. And this could be more of an accidental thing than a planned, thought out thing in advance. But let's say you have this game plan for retirement. You start your retirement at, say, age 62. The picture looks great for your retirement plan, but we go straight into a recession. And during that recession, so many of your assets are wiped out. And since you didn't have any other recurring income, you were expecting to pull this large sum of money for, say, the first 5 years of your retirement plan. Now, we want to try and limit how much of that money you actually need to pull from while those accounts are down. So then maybe you actually turn on Social Security at that point. So now you have a few $1,000s coming in each month, and you only need a supplement on top of that for your retirement spending instead of needing to do the full lifestyle coming out of your retirement accounts. So it could be think of as a backup plan if you do go into a recession early in your retirement. Now, the case for delaying, as we've been talking about, there is kind of this break-even point between the different options where if you passed away on a certain day, it didn't matter if you started collecting at 62, 67, 70, or any of the years in between, you basically broke even on your amount that you got from Social Security. So obviously, the longer that you live, the more age 70 becomes the go-to option because you're going to get that higher amount for a lot longer. Whereas life expectancy going down is going to make you want to pull from it early. So, just something that we need to think about. Something we do with our clients at our firm is that we run different Social Security options to show what the different pros and cons are of each before making a decision. Now, the piece that a lot of people overlook is their spouse. I have so many different clients or people that I've met with that basically only think about their own Social Security planning and when they're going to turn it on and how that's going to affect their plan. But they're not working together with their spouse's plan, right? When we do financial planning, it's comprehensive financial planning. We need to be comprehensive of not only what one person has, but every other option that the other person, the spouse, has as well. So one of the most common things that we see is that we actually choose different ages for each of the spouses. So maybe the spouse with the larger benefit would actually wait longer to start collecting than the spouse with the smaller benefit. Because when one of the spouses passes away, you only get to keep one plan. You don't get to keep two incomes, but they are nice enough to let you choose the higher of the two plans to carry out going forwards. So why this strategy works is because the person who had a larger benefit to begin with, they wait until age 70. That is the largest plan that either of you could have in your relationship is the higher income earner waiting until age 70. So now we have this really beefed up benefit. And then the other one could have said taken it at earlier, maybe at age 62 or 65. So then if the first spouse, the older spouse passes away or the higher benefit spouse passes away, then the spouse with the lower benefit gets to take that jump up to that higher benefit that was earned. Or if the spouse with the lower benefit passes away, then hey, at least the one that's still left over has that maximum benefit that they could get. So you're almost strategizing the two plans together to get the most and also have the best backup plan for when one spouse passes away. Now, another thing to think about is the tax angle. Social Security has so many different loops to it and different things to think about. For example, if you're working and you earn too much money before age 67, you could actually have your Social Security benefit go all the way to zero. So you could claim, start collecting Social Security, you start working a part-time job and make too much money, and they'll actually pay you nothing. So you turned it on for no reason, right? So those are the things that we need to think about when Social Security is being turned on is what is your income look like? Also tax brackets as well. So up to 85% of your Social Security could be taxable. So what that means is they take 85% of your benefit and that gets added to your taxable income for the year to figure out what your income taxes are going to be. So those are some important things to think about for us here in California, San Diego residents. Luckily, Social Security is not taxed from a California side, so that's definitely helpful. But we do need to think about all the federal planning as well. So now talking a little bit more about San Diego. When I think about San Diego residents, we have one of the higher costs of living in the country. So Social Security is going to make less of an impact in your retirement plan than it may in other places. Maybe in other parts of the country, they only need $1,000 a month or $1,500 a month more than Social Security, and that's enough money for them. Where out here in San Diego, Social Security could only be 20% of the amount of money that you need to live off of in your retirement. So we need to think about more of how we can maximize that as much as possible. And oftentimes that does mean waiting because if you're waiting a little bit longer, you're going to maximize that benefit as much as you can. And it's also going to give you a better backup plan in the later years of your life. If you go to an assisted living facility out here in San Diego, it's going to be insanely expensive. So having higher guaranteed income is always going to be better. So having more guaranteed income from Social Security is just going to help hopefully get you a little bit better living experience in those later years of your life. So I want you to think about what Social Security looks like for you. There's kind of all these different components that we need to put together. Your health and longevity, looking at your overall retirement planning picture, coordinating your taxes, and then lastly is thinking about this from a spousal perspective as well, and really putting that all together into one overall game plan that you can execute on. So if you're seeing this today and you're not in the San Diego Retirement Planning Facebook group, I'd love to have you join the conversation. I do weekly webinars on different retirement and financial planning topics, specifically for San Diego residents over the age of 55 that are getting closer to retirement and entering retirement. So you can join that free Facebook group, see the webinars every week. You can ask questions about different financial planning topics that either I or the community can answer for you. And we want to make sure that we're just building this community of retirees and pre-retirees that are working together to help increase your confidence and education as you approach retirement. So if you'd like to join the Facebook group, I have it either down in the description or in the comments, depending on where you're seeing this. Other than that, I hope you all have a great rest of your week, and I'll see you all next time.